2, 1. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of GG Gaming after like 2 months. I'm your host, Andrew.
Wow.
It is Thursday, July 28th, 2022, in case you forgot what year it was. And with me, I have somebody new, Jules Rose, aka Sparklecroissant.
Oh, it's actually July 29th for me, but
Oh, she's from the
the
future.
future's looking good. Very sunny.
Yeah, I've for anybody who listens, sometimes my audio goes up and down, so I'm trying to make it a point to stay a little closer to the
Mm.
mic. So,
I'll hold you to it.
yes. So, but then my face is too close, so whatever. Anyway, so we're gonna do a short episode today because it is after 10 p.m. for me, and it is early in the morning for you, where you are, and I
Definitely.
believe you gotta go probably within the hour. So
Yeah, unfortunately.
I will leave it up to you to introduce yourself and why you're in the future. So take it away.
Great. I'm Jules Rose. I'm a voice actor from Chicago, but right now I am living in Tokyo, Japan.
Woo.
I don't really know why. I think I just wanted to learn the language and have that skill set, and I've always wanted to visit Japan for a long period of time, and with the pandemic and the borders being closed, this was the only way to get in.
Mm,
So,
I
and
want to visit, so I'll move there.
exactly. That's what the
I'll do it
pandemic kind of
my
did,
way.
was like we all were just so antsy. We were just like, okay, fine, let me just get out of here. I'm done. I'm
Mm.
moving somewhere else.
Yeah. Um. Exactly. I'm still kind of quarantining a bit just because of like health insurance situations,
Sure.
and I'm hoping that I don't have to worry about that much longer. I just got a new job, and hopefully
Nice.
it's gonna kick in soon.
Nice, nice.
But there's also like a wave that comes and goes, and I'm just like, come
I
on,
know.
just stay
Apparently
gone.
it's really bad in Japan right now, which is kind of
Really?
crazy because everyone wears masks
Hmm.
outside everywhere. It's insane. So I don't know. I don't know why it's happening. It's really
Hmm.
bad.
So, so I guess a bit of background, but I don't know how much we can talk about. I met you in a Discord
Mm.
uh about a project that we can't really discuss, probably not. So,
Exciting.
yeah, so I'm sure that'll be announced when it's announced. And that's how we met, and I reached out, and because I'm looking for people, because I should have said in the beginning, nobody's being replaced. It's just everybody's schedules are crazy, and Alpha's been busy, and so I'm like, I'm looking for people who want to be on video, which is hard to find. All the people we have are either don't want to be on video or want to be on video, but their schedules are not synced up and can't come on when we're available to record.
Mm.
Or I should say, when I'm available to record, since I'm the one who sets up the recording. So everybody's at my whim. No, so
So spooky.
so I mean, and then I still have Grandpa Computer for anybody who watched the last few episodes. And I've been waiting. I ordered the new computer back in May, and it was supposed to come end of June, early July. And then I guess because there's a shortage on parts or whatever, but then they just recently were like, hey, it's gonna come August 30th to September 14th, and I'm like, no.
The worst.
So I'm hoping that when the new computer comes around, it will be able to manage more than like 3 people at once. Not that we've really had that opportunity to do that live yet, excuse me, but we will have that opportunity if the computer will be able to handle it, because right now the computer's like, one person's talking, time to crash. So but
How old
I
is your computer?
it's 10 years old,
Uh,
so it's
uh,
not terrible. It's just I always have like these intense programs open. Sometimes I have Final Cut Pro open, I'll have Photoshop open, I have like 80 something tabs in Chrome open,
Me too.
and my computer is just like, oh my god, I can't. And then like Photoshop itself will sometimes take up like I think the limit on the RAM might be. Oh, actually, I have the activity monitor open right now. Right now, it's okay. 16.91 gigs of memory being used out of the physical memory is 24. That's pretty good because I closed down Photoshop. I closed down everything except the things we're using right now. So,
Nice.
yeah, right now it's okay. But sometimes if I just have Photoshop open, it'll shoot up to 19. I'm just like, oh my god. And when I was in the Apple store, like testing out the new computers, the guy was like, yeah, well, these new computers should only take like 4 gigs of RAM at most. I'm like, oh, I need this.
Oh my god.
So, but we're doing a short episode today,
Hmm.
more of an introduction, and coming back after like 2 months, and hopefully we can try to stay consistent. That's always the case. I always say, hopefully we'll be back next week, and then we don't show up next week.
No.
But so I guess I talk about what I've been up to, but I think it's more important for you to talk about what you've been up to since you're the new one. So, what
Sure.
games have you been playing, or what games you're interested in, or just in general, what you've been up to? What's going on in the life of Jules Rose, aka Sparklecroissant?
Chaos, absolute chaos. Um, I could only bring my Switch to Japan because,
Mm.
the PlayStation or anything else would have been bulky luggage, unfortunately. And I go to school, so I need to manage my time a little bit. But the Switch has a lot of great stuff on it. And
Oh yeah.
I have found in Japan that games are so cheap. It makes it makes me so happy. I'm honestly going to just go through the stores, like book off,
Hmm.
and just buy whatever I see and then just ship it home.
Well, I
Uh,
should ask you. I'm assuming you could speak Japanese, right?
a little,
A
yeah.
little. And can you read Japanese?
I can read better than I can speak. Yes.
Okay. Oh, really? You can read better than you can speak.
Yeah, the thing is,
Interesting.
yeah, with there's like three different alphabets, and all of it sounds very similar with through like listening comprehension. So it takes a lot more brain power to be like, okay, the context of this is what they said, and then like this sound goes with this sound to make
Hmm.
this sentence. Versus if you read it, there's like different characters that mean different things. So you're just like, oh, okay, I can understand easier what this means because of the kanji that's here and the kanji that's here, if that makes
I
sense.
guess that's like some American words or American words. Some English words have multiple multiple meanings.
Right. Yeah, yeah, kind of like that.
So,
So it's easier to read right now. We'll see.
okay.
Listening comprehension is really
But you
tricky.
told me you play Japanese games with English text, right?
Yes.
They always have
Yeah.
English text options?
Well, the only one that hasn't so far is Splatoon 2, and I don't know
Oh.
why. Splatoon 2 is language locked. Uh,
Oh no.
and I guess if I
Can
was
you
going to pick any game to be language locked,
are you gonna import the English one?
I don't know. I don't know if I really need to or if I will use this as a practice opportunity, like a learning opportunity
Hmm.
to read in Japanese while I'm playing Splatoon. Um, but what I've been playing right now, I'm playing Persona 5 Strikers,
Mm-hmm.
which is really enjoyable. I finished Kirby and the Forgotten Lands, which I loved. I love Kirby. Um,
I've never played a Kirby
oh my
game.
God, it's so nostalgic.
And one of our other co-hosts loves Kirby, so I'm sure like you guys would have a great Kirby
Oh my
conversation.
gosh, the amount
A
of
Kirby
times,
station.
the amount of times I've tried to beat the Super Nintendo, like Kirby All Stars. Um, it was always at my aunt's house, so I would have to play in like little spurts of time, but one day I'll finish it.
See, I I always like to play games in their release order. The release order. I think I mumbled that. I always like to play games in their release order, And so I'm like, I got to play the first few Kirby games. And back in the
Ah,
Wii era, they had the anniversary collection. And I was like, oh, this is the perfect opportunity to get into the game.
yeah.
And then when I was ready to buy it, I couldn't find it anywhere. And
Ooh.
just ever since then, I was just angry. I'm like, well, I shouldn't say angry, but I was like disappointed because I like to own my games physically. Anybody who's listened knows I'm a big advocate of physical games. And I have a little bit of a story as to why, because something major happened recently. Um, but yeah, so I was like, well, they're not physically releasing the old Kirby games now, so now what?
Right.
Um, and that scare was actually me getting a suspension. My account got suspended by Nintendo, and I was like, well, I can't access anything digital now. I pre-ordered Sonic Origins and couldn't play it on the day it came out because my account was suspended. I'm like, I paid for this
Your
and I
Nintendo
can't play
account was
it.
suspended?
Yeah, my Nintendo account. And I got them to overturn it, and they do like a one-time overturn, and it's just like that was a big scare for me. Like, imagine you have like a Netflix subscription or equivalent,
Uh-huh.
and you're paying to buy your games digitally
Uh-huh.
on these platforms. So imagine if you were paying to like paying for episodes of a show or pay for a movie or pay for each movie on it. Like, you're paying for a subscription, but imagine the subscription service was free, but you're paying for each show or something, right? And then the service is like, your account's banned, so even though you bought all this stuff, you can't watch it anymore. That's what it's kind of like. And I'm just like, are you serious, dog?
Oh my God.
So because what happened was I got super confused over a purchase I made, because when I tried to purchase something, it was like trying to download, and then it stopped and it was like, oh, error. So I was like, okay, I'll try to purchase it again. And then so I was like, I don't know if I double purchased it or not. But then my bank account was like, hey, you got this. Is this a fraudulent charge? And so in my mind, I was like, oh, maybe that was like, maybe I got charged extra. I learned the hard way. You don't do that outside of Nintendo. You go to Nintendo and say, did you double charge me?
Right.
Because I was like, I think that's what it is. So I guess.
Yeah.
And that like violates the terms of their agreement, and then they just suspend you because they see like as soon as you do a chargeback.
Mhm.
And I was like, I did not really mean for this to happen. I wanted to, pay for the game that I wanted. Like, I didn't mean to do a chargeback on it.
Right.
I thought I was like, I must have misunderstood the situation. Thought my bank was kind of being like, hey, you paid for this twice or something like that.
My
So
God. So is it
um
still suspended?
no, they overturned it.
Okay.
But the lesson I learned was, if you have any issues with payments or anything with Nintendo, you go to them first.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you lose everything.
And it puts such a bad taste in your mouth that you're not going to do digital games anymore.
I only got to do them if like it's the only option, and I really hate that.
Yeah.
So,
It does take up more space, so
yeah, I mean, I was, and the thing is, some of these games still check to see if you have an account and a subscription. So like Sonic Origins, every time you open it up, it's like searching to see if like searching the internet to see if you can play this.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh, I've already been playing it. What do you mean you got to search the internet? So like, if you lose your account or your account gets suspended, and it's got to look up online again to see if you can play it,
Yeah,
like, I've already been playing it and now I can't play it anymore. If that happens, it's like
that
ridiculous.
is ridiculous.
So that put a really bad taste in my mouth for digital games, which already was. And then around the same time, I think it was, who makes Assassin's Creed? Is it EA?
Ubisoft?
Ubisoft? I think they've been taking down games from Stream. Like, they took down a game that people have paid for, and
Oh,
like, yeah, we're taking this off of Steam. And this is like, people who paid to play this game digitally can't actually even play it anymore.
wow.
I'm like, well, if you had a physical version of it, you could still pop it into your system and play. So I'm just like, this is where
Can't believe they're
this
getting
is
away
where
with
the
that.
digital era should be dying.
Yeah, like
I
you
think my
purchased this game and we're not going to
here
refund you, but you can't play it anymore.
right. So I think the solution is that nobody's ever gonna do, because they've they'd rather. I mean, no, none of these companies are ever gonna do this because they see it as a money loss probably.
Sure.
But just like when you buy a movie, like you buy a Blu-ray or DVD of a movie, it usually says it comes with Blu-ray, DVD, and digital, right?
Right.
I think you should have the option to buy a game, and it also comes with a digital code, so you
Sure.
own both physical and digital. Um,
Okay.
but these companies are gonna see it as I'm giving away two games. But it's like, no, you're not, but like you are, I guess. But that's not the intention. Like there has to be some smarter way of doing that, like of making sure you're not handing your code out. But at the same time, these movie companies are not ensuring that you're not handing out your code to anyone, right? Like
Right.
if I buy a movie that comes with a digital download code, they're not worried that I'm going to give the code to my friend.
Yeah.
So
Mm.
and people are pirating games all the time anyway, so like I don't know, I just feel like that would be the solution, to offer a digital download with your physical copies, and that just solves the problem.
I wonder if they could figure out a way to make sure that
What
the
if your
code
physical
and the
copy
game have
what
to
if your physical
go in the same.
what if your physical copy comes with a code to download the game for
Right.
free? And that's how you whoever has that code has access to download it for free.
Right, exactly. So,
So
like, you have
like
to figure out a way that you can't split the code and the game between two
mhm.
different consoles.
I wonder if there's a way to. This actually hurts people who buy used games, but I wonder if there's a way to, when you like pop in a physical game for the first time, it's like if you have a digital copy or like a code for it, put this in now or something.
Yeah,
Um,
that would be a
or maybe
solution.
the disc itself comes with the option to download the contents from the disc.
That might be the best
And then
solution.
it can sync to the internet to be like a duplicate of that digital copy. So you're
Right.
not downloading the digital copy from the internet, and you can't give that, like there's no code to actually give someone. The download comes from the cartridge or disc or whatever.
Right. And then the disc won't work on a
Right.
different console that you didn't download. I think that could work.
Yeah.
That's
It
probably the
better.
solution. And they better credit you for that.
Yeah. I'm like, I feel like that is the perfect solution, and it's never going to happen.
Yeah.
Like
Because
that.
someone would figure out a way to cheat the system.
Yeah, but people cheat the system all the time.
Yeah.
It's just like you can't stop a good thing because other people are gonna abuse it. Like,
Agreed.
if that was the case, Nintendo would have done a much better job at offering the special edition of Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Yeah.
you know, because all these scalpers jumped on board, and it's just like if these companies had any issue with other people profiting off of their stuff, they would have been on top of it already.
Mm.
Like I feel like they're on top of the wrong things sometimes.
Oh, yeah,
But
for
I'm not a
sure.
marketing person, so maybe there is a reason behind it. But I think it's probably greed. They're like, oh, people are
100%.
buying digital only and people are buying physical only. But I mean, obviously they're going to buy digital or physical only because that's all you're offering.
Yeah.
I don't mind paying. I mean, I shouldn't say this because this would set a bad precedent probably, but I don't mind paying just a little bit extra. Like, let's say a game is $40 physical or $40 digital, but you can pay 45 or maybe 50, and I don't want to go much beyond 50 because like now we're pushing it, but to give me both.
Yeah.
So like that would incentivize people to keep their code because they paid for it. Or like if somebody else wants to like give you money, like, oh, if you want to split this so that I'll give you money, you can give me the digital code and you keep the physical copy. Like, sure, and the company wins too because they got more money out of it.
Yeah.
So
No, it's a really good idea.
if I was a video game company, I feel like this would be my business model.
Right.
You
Well,
know,
I mean, write a strongly worded letter to Nintendo.
like they're gonna care.
I
Dear
will
Nintendo.
personally deliver it to them here in Japan. I'll be like, where is Nintendo headquarters? I don't know.
Konnichiwa.
Here you go.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even know where to start with that. I feel like if I was lucky enough to have a big fan base, people would probably be like, oh, Andrew has this cool idea, and they would maybe share it online. But I feel like I got a ton of cool ideas that just like I don't have the audience to share my ideas around. Maybe
Yeah,
one day, but
maybe one
I'm
day.
just like, if I started a video game company, I would push for that to be like, this is what sets me apart from everyone else. And if one of those companies steals my idea, I still win because now I have physical and digital copy of a game. So, like, I don't want them to steal my idea, but I mean, like, I'm trying to figure out how to word the Batman saying of like the hero we need but don't deserve or something. I couldn't figure out how to word that into this.
The
Like digital and
hero we
physical is
need,
it's the business model we need but we don't
but
deserve.
we don't deserve. It's so true. I want to get to Nintendo World so bad, but I feel like it's also going to be one of those,
Oh,
oh my God,
that's
cash grabs.
right.
Like, Nintendo is so funny. It's like $60 a game everywhere in the States. And I'm just like,
You know what I would definitely do if I shouldn't say definitely, but I would like to do,
yeah.
and I want to say that I would definitely do, but I never know the situation in the future. For all I know, this could be impossible, and I can't, like, they'll take down Nintendo World, so it's like, well, I can't live up to my definitely. But what I want to do is if this channel ever got big enough, I would and profitable, I'd be like, hey, we're gonna stream from Nintendo World. Let's all go to Nintendo World. I would
I
love to do
mean,
stuff like that, but like nobody seems to care. But I care. I
you,
listen to my own show sometimes.
I'll stream from Nintendo World and just be like,
That'd be awesome. I would love to like get. I mean, if things picked up and show is going on and like a couple of the mainstays, I would love to just get a group to go to wherever it is. In this case, Nintendo World. Be like, special episode this week. We're streaming from Nintendo World. Ah!
come on, borders,
That'd
open
be
up.
awesome. That'd be so cool.
Part of me
Um,
really does want the borders to open up so people and like friends and family and everyone can come and
mm.
enjoy. But part of me is also like, it's already so crowded here. So it'd be insane. I can't imagine Nintendo World with like, oh my God, when the borders open up and everyone's like, let's go to Japan.
Oh, it's like it's like the very first episode of SpongeBob with all the sardines.
Yeah, yeah. That's exactly what Japan's gonna be
It's
like.
the kind of smelly smell that smells smelly.
Oh no, I need to work on my SpongeBob. Nowhere near
Oh,
that.
my friend could do the laugh really good.
Like
It's
that.
like
Ah! Yeah, 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 yeah. Too early in the morning. Uh,
too late
no.
at night. It's too late at night
It's
for this.
just it's too much. I can only the only I feel like I have a okay grasp on is like Timmy Turner, and that's it. So I need to like open my
Do a Timmy Turner.
oh God, on the spot.
Say, this is Timmy Turner, live from Japan.
Okay. Um, this is Timmy Turner.
Oh shit, that's good.
Yeah, that's hard. Okay. Cosmo and Wanda.
That's really good.
Working on it.
Um,
Working on it. Work in
did you
progress.
did you see the Metalocalypse dubs I was telling you about?
No, I mean
That
I've
I
caught Metalocalypse like on Adult Swim every once in a while, but I've never watched it like.
Oh no, 'cause I did a few dubs where I changed like the dialogue, and I think I was telling you about. So I did one
Oh
where I was telling you
yeah.
about the Ken Penders one, and then I put them on TikTok, and they're all got copyright claimed. And I was like, listen,
Excellent.
YouTube did the same crap to me, but they overturned it. Okay, so here's the email where they overturned it from because it was like I don't know if it was Time Warner or somebody. It was whoever
Sure.
the company that would issue the copyright complaint would like is the one who did it on YouTube, and then it got overturned. Or they were like they realized whatever. So it's like the same company did it on TikTok,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, you guys already copyright claimed me and overturned it. Here's the proof. I uploaded the video and the image of them, like, you're saying like it's been overturned,
Uh-huh.
and no response.
Sure.
It's like TikTok is just like the Wild West of videos, in the sense that, like, you can't overturn anything if it's wrongfully whatever.
Oh, it definitely
So,
is. I've heard some insane stories from TikTok.
but I mean, in that context though, like, I love doing voices of stuff too. I was putting together a video of just like all the impressions I could do,
Yeah.
and I kind of stopped because I'm just like doing like a million different projects at the same time.
Yeah.
And part of me was like, when I get the new computer, it'll probably run everything more like smoothly,
Mm-hmm.
so it'll be easier to put this video together. But I was like doing just putting a lot. I was doing like Big the Cat. I was doing some Sonic voices. I was doing my Wesker impersonation. I was doing some Death Clock ones. And like as I was doing like more and more, I was like, oh yeah, I could do this guy. Oh yeah, I could do that guy.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like what I could say as whoever, and I'm putting myself on the spot.
I know,
can't
it's
even
hard
think of
when
it.
you're just like, okay, now I actually have to like perform.
Me.
I need
feel
to put
like
together an impression list.
yeah, I feel like I can do like, and maybe it's not that I can do it, but it's just like this moment. I mean, okay, so have you watched Naruto? Or are you a fan of Naruto?
Yes. I haven't watched all of
Okay.
it, and I've watched some in dub, some in sub.
So there's like one scene in particular, and I think the line is from one of the Ultimate Ninja Storm games.
Uh-huh.
So like I've heard it in Japanese, and then I've heard the English dub, and it's like when Pain is pretty much floating above like the hidden leaf, and he's like, now this world shall know pain, and then he like destroys the village. And I remember like the
God.
Japanese, it's like so in my head, and like knowing the English and the Japanese, it's just like they're like spoken very differently.
Yeah.
It's like if you took that voice actor from Japan and made him say the English line, it would sound weird. If you took the English voice actor and made him say the Japanese line, it would probably sound weird.
Yeah.
But I was like, what I was getting at was I don't necessarily impersonate it, but I just like find myself always saying that line. And it's like, I mean, I'm probably butchering it or saying it wrong because I don't actually know Japanese.
I'm ready.
But it's like, Kokoyoroi setai ni tami wa. Is that right? Or did I butcher it?
Say that again?
It's like, Kokoyoroi setai ni tami wa.
You say setai?
Setai, world, right?
Sekai.
Setai is world. Sekai, yeah. See, I'm butchering it already.
It's actually not bad though.
And like
that's like the one thing I.
Like, the Kokoyoroi setai ni tami wa. I said it wrong again. So, and that's like I just remember that, but like I probably can't say anything else in that voice.
That was like a nice like cadence under there,
Yeah.
because like Japanese voice actors have like such an amazing like groundedness to it, and I was just like, oh.
And if you take that same like vocal range and say it in English, it sounds off because the whole like Kokoyoroi, and it's just like, no, this world shall no. It's like sounds weird.
But no, I mean that's good. I think good dubs actually take the authenticity of like the Japanese language and they turn it into an authentic English performance.
Yeah.
So
and
you can't have it the same way because they're not the same language.
I think people don't realize that, and that's why they get upset. It's like, oh, it sounds too different. I'm like, yeah, but I realize it's like if you make it sound the same, it doesn't sound. It sounds
right. Cheesy and weird. Like that's the.
It's like, oh, I am this guy and I have a deep voice. This is not intimidating at all.
Exactly. Like the dubs that I like the most are the ones that do the opposite of that, where they're not just like trying to sound like the Japanese voice actors. I mean, in a way, try to, but like ground that more in like the English language and American like ways of speaking versus because they're very different languages and they're very different. They have very different like sayings and very different rhythms. So I know I
just like love that line so much, and I'm gonna probably continue to say it wrong. But sometimes when I like practice a voice, I say that line in that voice, and it's just like sometimes it's so ridiculous, but it gives me something to say because I know how it's supposed to sound in Japanese.
Right. No, it's
So
good.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, voice acting is something I want to get into too, but
Yeah.
I don't know how to get into like any of the things that I want to do, and it's really frustrating.
It's a tough
So,
industry. Yeah. It's tough.
so yeah,
Especially here in
but
Japan.
I'm sure you would think that like, and I could be completely wrong about this, so correct me if I'm wrong,
Yeah.
but I would theorize that being a foreigner who can if you can speak the language fluently and voice act, I feel like the companies or studios might be like really interested in bringing you in because you're a different kind of person. Makes it sound like wrong, but what I mean is like you bring a different perspective, like you're a different person. So like as a foreigner, so like if you ever have any interviews with like the voice cast, like you being like a native speaker from another language and having the perspective of living in another country, you bring that to those panels, those interviews. You can bring in like English speaking people can ask you stuff, like I'm sure they have their own translators, but I feel like it opens doors. So I feel like I'm using a lot of I feel likes here, but I feel like these companies or studios would be more so interested in bringing in a foreigner who can fluently voice act a different language.
Yeah, I have no idea what that would be like, but everything that you said, I also
theoretically,
theoretically,
it sounds like the case.
Yeah, and
I mean, for me,
school,
I'd be like, just tell me like I don't need to know the language, just tell me what to say and I'll say it.
No, exactly. If you give me a script, like I'll practice that shit like back and forth. So like I'll do it, but like
familiar with like how words are said because I listen to subbed anime and dubbed anime, but like I don't know how to speak it. But if you said, all right, this is how you say this, and I listened to it enough time, I'll be like, all right, I got it, and I could do it. You know?
No, totally. And I actually do think that listening to anime, even though it's not always an accurate representation of how people actually speak here, it if you're going to be a voice actor for anime, listening to voice actors in anime helps. Even in my Japanese language school right now, we have like practices of like conversations. So they like give us scripts and like we have to say the script, and I'm like, I actually know how the rhythm of this sentence goes because I think I heard it on an anime. And they're like, oh, Jozu, like really good, like skillful. And I was just like, oh, thank you. I learned it from anime.
Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you. I know my cartoons.
But it's true. It actually works.
You just like walk into class and you just like wave like the royal family or however. You're just like,
yeah,
I could speak it.
Yep. I know. I was just like, oh, thank you so much. Wow.
What's Josu?
Josu is like skilled or skillful. So like sometimes when it's something that they say like when you sound like Japanese or like you're doing something very well, like oh, Josu. So I'm like, arigato gozaimasu.
Arigato gozaimasu.
So that's essentially what it means. It means that you're skilled at something.
Okay. My nose is like really itchy. I'm trying to scratch it without making it look like I'm picking my nose.
I mean, allergies here are insane, so I'm sure they're
really
not great there. Oh my gosh, yeah, it's rainy season here, and I didn't know that would affect me as much as it has. It rains and then it gets like 90 degrees and then it rains, and like that kind of no.
Man, I ain't got time for that.
No,
I got time for that
I
algae and stuff.
Especially when I'm in class and I'm just like, my eyes are like watering and I'm like, trying to
It's like, oh, great acting.
Great acting, but are you okay? They're like, oh, Josu, Genki desu ka? I'm like,
And scene.
yay. Yeah, exactly. It's there's a lot to get used to here. It's kind of crazy.
Mm. Yeah, there's probably a big culture shock too. I love how
Oh
this
yeah,
is a video game show and we're not even talking about games.
I know.
But
I talked
no,
about
it's
cookies for
okay.
like two
It's
seconds.
okay. We tangent all the time,
Yeah.
and I think this is like fascinating to talk about anyway.
Hmm.
But yeah, what's the culture? I hear from people. I don't hear from people personally, but I see like
Sure.
videos when people talk about moving to a different country, no matter what it is. But usually it's Japan that's in the example because it's like one of the major places people always want to move to, and it's probably coming from, I don't know if it's derogatory to say the weeaboo community, but just like the anime loving and manga loving community, who like latch on to
Yeah.
that culture. And I am one of those people who love the anime and manga community.
Yeah.
And when I was in high school, I was like, oh, I gotta go to Japan. I was definitely like a Japanese person
Yeah.
in my past life. Like I was like all into it.
Hmm.
And so I think that that's what drives that wanting to move there,
Yeah.
at least visit. But there's a lot of people talking about how it's not necessarily a place you'd want to move to, but definitely visit because because you grow up, and that's like really with any going from any place to any other place, like
Sure.
just the culture is so different, the expectations and everything are different.
Yeah.
So I mean, with that note, what is that like? What are you discovering about the change? Is there a shock?
There's definitely a shock. If you go to some place like, I mean, not everywhere in Europe, but if you go to a few of the major countries in Europe, you'll find people who speak pretty fantastic English.
Hmm.
Here is really hard to come by. Um, they all know like the basics, but it's the language barrier is definitely stronger than any place that I have been to
Mm.
before. There are a lot of
Is
places, a
there?
lot of restaurants and izakayas won't have like English menus, so you
Mhm.
kind of just have to
Mm.
point at
Well,
something.
in those places, are there people that know some English at least?
Some, yeah. And there are I've met people who don't know any. I've met people who actually like speak pretty
Mm.
well, like basic conversation wise, even though it may be like a little broken, but that's okay because I would speak like broken Japanese back at them. So they're just like, yeah, we're
Yeah.
both trying. Um, so that was one thing that I was just like, okay, so you really do have to know some basics of the language
Hmm.
to comfortably get around here. Um, yeah, I mean, I'm from Chicago, so I'm used to a very different kind of city. This city is, I mean, both of them are very bustling, but this one is very um,
Clean.
clean, organized, lots of like rules to abide by, even though sometimes people don't follow it's very weird.
Which city do you feel comfortable saying?
Tokyo?
Oh, you're in Tokyo.
Yeah,
Okay,
I'm in
cool.
Tokyo. And it is crazy crowded, so you have to just kind of know exactly where you're going, especially in train stations. Um, Shinjuku train station is the busiest in the entire world. Uh, so you just have to figure out the subway maps. And there are like a couple different subway companies, so you have to figure out
Hmm.
which ones cost which one. But culture wise, yeah, I think it's just knowing the rules. And as a foreigner, you have to abide by them even more so because, first of all, respect.
Hmm.
And second of all, you stand out. So you want to try to respect the culture and respect the rules even more so. Even if you see like a Japanese person like cross the street and not at a crosswalk, don't be a foreigner and do that because you never know what street they're recording at the moment,
Hmm.
and you know we just stand out. So Um, don't talk on the subways.
Really?
Yeah, don't do
Huh?
that at all. I mean, sometimes
Are you
people
allowed to
will have like a
sing
little
on the subway?
Victorious. What?
Is anyone allowed to sing on the subway? I'm not allowed to talk, but at least I can sing.
Nope, frowned upon. Very frowned upon. And I
They
mean,
kick you out of the moving subway.
yeah. And depending on like the time of day, like that might be a little less of a thing. But like if you go into a quiet car, stay quiet. Because this is,
That's interesting.
people's commute to work is like one of the only times that, they have any downtime. So respect that.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, it's from what
Actually,
I've
how I'm
seen,
maybe you wouldn't know this because you came post pandemic, right?
yeah.
But is the commute, you think, less so than it used to be before the pandemic? Because at least I know in America, a lot of jobs have become remote. Not all. There's still, a fair amount, like a lot, that are
Mhm.
returned to the office, some hybrid. But I'm curious, in Japan, did they do something similar? Like a lot of people switched to remote, or
I don't
like
really
does the
know.
commute, you think, not as bad as it used to be in that sense? Or
The
you have no
commute
idea?
seems pretty busy. So I have to imagine that most people are going to work. Or I have no idea what it would have been like pre-pandemic, but I have been in a subway car where I literally cannot move because of how packed the people are around me.
Hmm,
So, and that was like right around rush hours. So
gotcha.
I have to imagine that the commute is pretty similar. Otherwise, I'd be like, how? How
Hmm.
did they do it? Because talk about sardines. Yeah.
How about like accessing let's see, like if you wanted to, I don't know, if do you watch the Marvel shows, like the Marvel Cinematic Universe shows, like
I've seen the
Disney
movie.
Plus?
I have yet to venture into the shows.
Because well, I'm using that as an example, but like let's say you wanted to watch the newest show was Miss Marvel,
Mm.
right? If you wanted to watch that in Japan, can you access it? Because it's a completely different network, I guess.
If you
Is
get a
that word?
VPN, yeah. Um,
Okay.
but I don't really know what Disney Plus would be like here, but it's interesting to see like Japanese
Is it
Netflix while I'm here.
Disney Plus?
Disney Plus. Disney.
Disney
Disney.
Plus.
Hi. Yep.
Monsieur
Oh man.
Mavrou.
Katakana is the bane of my existence. It's the alphabet that's used for like foreign words, and it's actually
It's
like
like it shares one thing in common with Italian accents, and that's like always ending off with a
yeah, yeah,
it's like
yeah.
off the top of my head, like I remember listening to an Italian or a person with an Italian accent explaining whatever it was. I don't know what it was on a video, and like every word ended with a like they went
Ah,
I went to this part, and I'm just like,
really? They
it was
sounded
just
like
like,
that?
really, this is getting a little obnoxious, and I could say it because I'm Italian, so I'm Italian, so I can say that it's annoying.
There's, I can't. Send me
But like,
audio.
but the point is like, I don't think there's really any Japanese words that end on a consonant. They always end in a vowel because they're always
The
characters, right?
only consonant is N. Like things can end on an N.
Oh, and the only word I
Uh,
know of is kun.
kun,
Kun, like
like minute.
no, like you would put a like an honorific, not honorific, but
Oh,
like on
kun.
someone's name,
Yeah,
Kun,
like
right?
kun and chan and san.
Yeah.
Yeah, those all end in N. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, so that's the one consonant that fully ends on a consonant because everything else is kind of like you end on a T and you go like to, you know, or you end on an S and it goes su. Like very subtle, but
Yeah. I'm just gonna merge the Italian accent with the Japanese and just like name this episode "Live from Japan." No, I don't know what
people
I'm
are
gonna
just
do,
like,
but like, it's just like And I'm like,
No.
I'm the voice in the back of the crowd being, I can do it because I'm Italian. It's
But
okay.
we can't do anything Japanese because
It's like, no. There's this GIF of GIF or GIF. I say GIF, but I
think
guess it's GIF.
because isn't it graphic? Isn't the first part of it graphic?
Yeah, but apparently the guy who invented it said it's a GIF, and somebody also used like a different acronym that was also pronounced incorrectly. That's the correct one that we use all the time. It's just like, I'm sure it's a GIF, but you're never gonna catch me saying GIF. What is this? Peanut butter?
But I mean, Jif, the peanut butter starts with a J.
Yeah. So, at least the peanut butter doesn't start with a J and is called GIF peanut butter. I'd be like,
No, the world is
what?
backwards. The world,
GIF
no,
peanut butter.
no.
But I was gonna say, have you ever watched Mega 64? Their videos.
No, I don't think so. My brain went to like Megas XLR.
Oh, well, one of the guys on the show, there was like it must be an older video. They do a lot of skits, right? A lot of like video game related skits, and they did well, I just remember like this one scene of one of the guys, and he's like sweating profusely, and he's like trying to get the other person to stop talking, and he's just like, no, stop, don't say it. And I have that GIF/GIF saved, and I'm like, this is like the perfect reaction to me just being like, I could say it because I'm Italian, and it's just like, no, stop, don't say it.
That's me. I'm just like,
stop, don't say it.
I just did like a JoJo.
No, it's just like,
I'm wearing my shirt.
oh, he's doing the hand pose too. Which part is that? Because I'm in the middle of
This is
part...
technically part 4 is when this character comes.
I'm in the middle of part 4. Last
Oh,
thing I
so
saw was, I gotta remember, Josuke is the JoJo, right? In that one. I'm sure I read a little bit past this, but the last most prominent thing was when they fought the stand user that was a rat.
Oh my god!
I think there was actually 2 of them. You know, like 2 rats.
That episode was insane. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I'm reading the chapters. I was reading it before watching it because the chapters like way more graphic and uncensored. I'm like, show me how it's supposed to be.
Oh my god!
And it's like pretty graphic.
Yeah, which is crazy because the anime itself is already pretty. I mean, not like bloody, but it's like when things like twist and break, like they make it like. Good.
Yeah. Dude, we just shot up from like up to like 7 viewers and back down to 3. I was like, where did those people come from?
You're just like JoJo.
And then they were like, then they left. It's like, yeah, I can't deal with this.
They're like, oh,
either
JoJo,
too late or
and then
too
they're
early
like,
in the morning.
oh no, I'm not there yet. Spoilers, and they left.
Yeah. So,
I just went to the Sky Tree, and they were doing a JoJo exhibit, 450 meters in the air. Yeah, the Sky Tree, you know, like that really, there's like 2 towers. There's Tokyo Tower, which is like that red broadcasting one. And then they have the Sky Tree, which is like kind of like I think it might also be a broadcasting tower, but it's a little like chunkier and like you can actually go up it and like survey the whole cityscape. And they have this whole thing where it's like, JoJo's taking over the Sky Tree. I'm like, this is the most Japan thing I've ever seen.
JoJo!
Yeah, and it was really cool. I mean, it was really cool. But I was just like, this is so funny. I just love the way that they just incorporate anime into just their landscape. I'm just like,
oh, man.
Oh.
I'm like, tie this back into games because one of the older JoJo games is coming out, I think, in the fall on the Switch. Because it was on a PS3, maybe? I forget which one. But so I was kind of like, I gotta catch up and read all of the manga before then. And so that kind of motivated me to continue reading. And then I just like fell off because I just busy. And, like reading a bunch of things or I'm working on my comics. I'll have to show you like later, but
Yeah.
I got some projects. I have one that I haven't actually even announced yet, and I've got a few big names on it.
Hmm.
And I'm like really excited to show that. It's like almost ready to. The plan is to, when I announce it, I will probably put out the first 6 pages as
Hmm.
preview. And just like introduce the people who are working on it. But I got a few big names on it, and I'm really excited for it. It was initially pitched to some studios as a cartoon that they said no to, and I'm like, fine, I'll do it myself. So I made it into a comic. so,
Oh, you can't say
so
anything
we'll
else.
see. No, we've all got our secret projects.
Indeed. Indeed.
So so I don't know how long we've been recording for. It says started streaming 57 minutes ago, so I guess we're about an hour. And
Yeah.
I said it was gonna be short, and you said we could do like 40 minutes, and we just kept talking. So
I know.
I don't want to keep you if you gotta go,
Fortunately, do
because
have
you
a
got to
kanji
start your
test.
day. Today you got a test.
Yeah.
Okay.
I know. I don't want to.
I mean, well, we did talk about games, but there was other stuff I thought was really cool to talk about, and you'll find that we tangent quite often.
Mm.
I think we even had we wanted to talk about like the new Sonic 2 movie. We wanted to do a spoiler section, and then we're like, oh, we'll just have a separate podcast about Sonic 2, and that never happened. But like we tangent all the time, so
Right.
and
Organic
as
conversation and all that.
yeah, as more people tune in and listen, and like they might say, oh, what do you think of this or what do you think of that? Then that might guide the conversation anyway. So we'll
Right.
see.
Cool.
So yeah, before we go, the plan is to record on Wednesday or Thursday
Mm.
in American time at
Yeah.
night.
For you.
So actually, I should ask you: are you ever available on Monday nights, which is Tuesday morning for you?
Yeah.
Okay, because that's when me and Alpha, or Alpha and I, gotta get my grammar correct. Alpha and I were recording Monday nights when we could.
Okay.
So when everybody is available, we do like one recording as opposed to like, you want to record again in a week? So
Yeah.
so I'm just like thinking like, oh, what are the days that we're all free? And just we used to record Mondays, and I guess we still could if you are available, and we could attempt to bring on 3 video feeds. That's going to be the
Yeah.
real test for my computer. Can it handle a 3rd video feed?
I believe in you. Gambate.
I believe in me, but I don't believe in the computer a little bit. Like last episode or the episode before that, we had 2 video feeds and a 3rd audio because Nint was on audio only. And at one point, my computer or the application was like, oh, I forget what it said, but it pretty much was saying like connecting.
Mm.
And I was like, did it disconnect? But listening back to it, it didn't disconnect. So I was like, makes me worry.
Right.
So, but anyway,
Sounds good.
I guess that's it for now. And all the links will be in the description. Links in the description. Yeah, for some reason in my head, I was thinking all the descriptions will be in the link. But all the links will be in the description.
That sounds right to me.
And yeah. And I guess we will try to be back next week.
Yeah.
I don't know who will be back. Maybe it'll be us and someone else.
Sure.
Which would be cool to like start having multiple people on again. It's just I would really like to get my new computer
Yeah.
any day now.
Yeah. That is the tricky thing, huh?
Yeah. So anything you want to wrap up before we go?
No. I mean, subscribe.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe, and yeah, I have a YouTube channel that I do some Japanese vlogs on, and I want to try to do some voice acting stuff on, but I just have to figure out where to start with that. And then I have a couple of other projects that I'm a part of that I'm excited for them to come out. So just tune in and keep you updated.
Right, nice.
Yeah,
And for me, it's always the same crap.
always the same
All the
crap.
links are in the description below.
Amazing. Good job.
Any other games coming out before next week? Like, I'm just thinking, like, oh, and don't forget this comes out, but I guess not. I don't know. If
I
so,
haven't
nothing
really
I.
been keeping track too much because we just had Comic-Con.
Oh yeah.
So that was a few other things. But before that we had no, it was just Comic-Con. So a few things kind of were announced, but my brain isn't working, so maybe next time we can look into that.
I mean, you did tell me you were playing a new game, which was Sakuna of Rice and Rain.
Yes,
but
I am
we
playing
can
that
talk
game.
about it another time.
Yes, it's a good one. I like it.
It's like 11 now.
Of Rice and Ruin.
Which for you, it's 12 p.m.
It is noon. Yes.
Okay, it's lunchtime.
Yes, it is time for me to eat some Jif peanut butter and bread.
You mean GIF peanut butter?
Actually, I mean Skippy because it's the only thing they sell here.
Skippy peanut butter.
Yep, exactly.
All right.
Exactly.
Alrighty.
All right,
Bye,
nice
everyone.
talking to you. Bye. See you next time.
See you next time. Bye.